Hello again, folks. I'm Sheffrey. I'm here with Alan Riley and Bill Werkheiser, and tonight we've got exciting boys basketball action, this time in the form of the 11th annual holiday basketball tournament sponsored by the Triangle Club of Montgomery County. The game we're going to show you tonight, folks, the Norristown High Eagles and the Trojans of Wissahickon. And gentlemen, tonight I think we're going to have a run and gun ball game. We've got two teams that have identical records. They're both clubs are 4-1, and they come into this game with extremely similar type offenses. Now, we've seen Norristown play a lot this year, and I think we were discussing before the game that one of their problems might be a bit of inconsistency. Can they have that tonight and beat Wissahickon?
I don't think so, because it's the first round, and of course everybody tries to get into the final of the tournament, so they have to be on top of their game tonight, and I don't think they can be lackadaisical and play without any consistency or some enthusiasm.
All right, Alan, after 5 games this year, what do you see as the Norristown High offense's biggest asset, or the team's biggest asset?
Well, I guess the two key returning starters, as far as I'm concerned, Steve Bishop, Mike Simpkins, both of them averaging close to 20 points a ball game, and Simpkins has shown the most drastic improvement. He's really toned down his game. He's gotten it under control, and that's the key, I think, for this entire Eagles squad. They like to get out there, as Bill said, on the break, and they like to do their running, but they must control the tempo of the game. And at times, I think this season, and I think Bill would comment on it, that they seem to get out of control, and that costs them.
Well, part of the offense is what they call a sideline break, which means they like to get it up the court very fast, get the quick shot before the defense sets up. But they have been out of control a little bit if they don't get that good shot. So I think Alan's right. They have to learn to set up if they don't get that good quick shot before the defense sets up. But I think John's been running this for a number of years since he's been coaching. It's been very effective, especially last year with Queenan out front leading, and he's had probably more dunks than any player I've ever seen on a high school level.
All right, just briefly, let's talk about the Triangle Club tournament itself. We're now entering our 11th year of a holiday basketball tournament. And Bill, I know you're on the board of directors of the Triangle Club in Montgomery County. And every year, I think this tournament gets a little bit better. What are you expecting this year as far as crowd and the level of competition?
Well, we're doing something new, as you know, this year. It's the first year we've had a girls' tournament, simply because the girls are now involved with the Triangle Club. They can win the Judges on How award. But I think the tournament this year is going to be a little bit different, simply because I don't think we have any real name players. Like last year, we had Queenan from Norristown, Leahy from Kenrick, Tevez from Souderton, and but I think we're going to see good basketball. Although, you know, Norristown's got 2 of the leading scorers in the area, in Bishop and Simpkins, and Kenrick's starting to come along real strong. They're improving with every game. So I still think it's the social happening of the night here in Norristown, and I'll be a little disappointed if we don't get a good crowd, but we'll have to wait and see.
Now, I think that my own personal opinion coming into this ball game is that Norristown and Wissahickon are the two best teams in this tournament, as opposed to Kenrick and Souderton. I think Souderton without Dennis Tevez might be a weaker team than we saw play last year, and I think Bishop Kenrick definitely at a level below what Phil Martelli usually puts out from the Knights.
Most definitely. I think you hit it right on the head that time, because Norristown and Wissahickon, besides probably being talent-wise the 2 best teams, they're probably going to be the 2 most entertaining teams because of their style of basketball. However, you can never count Kenrick out. We saw them get out of the gates very slowly this year. Then all of a sudden the Catholic League North play opens and they win their first 2 ball games. And it always seems Kenrick is a team that will start slowly and then build. And we have seen them in past occasions where Norristown has blown them out in their opening game of the season, and then Kenrick coming back and getting revenge here in Norristown Gymnasium during the Triangle Tournament. So you never can tell in this type of situation, and especially when you're going to have a packed gymnasium probably with so many local fans all rooting for each other's squads.
Okay, tonight, once again, Norristown High and the Trojans of Wissahickon. This game will determine who will go to the championship game tomorrow night in this Triangle Club tournament. And of course, the winner here tonight will play the winner of the Bishop Kenrick Souderton ball game. Bill and Alan and I will be back in just a moment with the play-by-play to begin this ball game. Okay, folks, we're here at courtside, and we're having our introductions of the starting lineups here tonight. The Trojans of Wissahickon being introduced first. Norristown will be in their home white uniforms with the blue trim, and the Trojans in their navy blue uniforms with the gold trim. And we're introducing the entire ball club for you here, just to run down the starters and the players for Wissahickon. we have number 34, Dwight Weldon, number 43, Milt Stewart, number 33, Dan Johnson, number 12, Kyle Wilson, and number 11, Terry Dudley. Those will be your starters. In addition, the reserves, number 14, Bill Boutros, number 41, Ken Jones, 40, Barry Newman, 42, Ken Sadler, 44, John Sheffrey, and 20, Tom Riles. And for the Eagles out there, number 20, Steve Bishop, number 11, Keith Jones. For Mark Coleman, number 10 for the Eagles. Steve Manning, number 12. Mike Simpkins, number 24. Number 5, Andy Town. Number 4, Joe Smith. Number 22, John Doc Ward. He'll be a starter for you. Number 14, Theron Ellis. Number 31, Irvin Smith. And that about rounds out our Eagles squad. And of course, John Cresswell, the head coach for Norristown High. And who are those assistants for the Eagles tonight, Bill?
Well, the big guy is my son Mark, and the assistant, the other assistant is, number 1 assistant is Earl Mitchell. Refereeing tonight's game, Jeff, is Eddie Hargadon and Jimmy Moore, both PW graduates.
Okay. And the Eagles taking the floor. Number 14, Theron Ellis, will be at center for the Eagles. Theron, not an extremely tall player, only listed in our program as standing, what's that say, Alan? 6 feet 2 inches tall. Also out there, Steve Bishop at guard. Number 22, Doc Ward. Number 24, Mike Simpkins. And number 11, Keith Jones, running out the starters for your Eagles.
One thing about tonight's two teams, Jeff, they're both equal in size. I think you're going to see a lot of leaping from both squads, but overall, they're both about the same size.
And right off the tap, we see our first fast break points of the game. Milt Stewart knocks in an easy field goal off the tap for Wissahickon. So very quickly, the Trojans on the scoreboard. Steve Bishop with control for Norristown. Whips it over to Doc Ward. Ward with the open jumper. Off the heel of the rim, no good. Rebound taken by Wissahickon. We're going to have traveling there called on number 11, Terry Dudley. That time Dudley looked for the pass, had no place to go, and Steve Bishop was right on top of him.
Figured nobody was going to be there, but you got to take that extra look before you put the ball on the floor.
Theron Ellis gives right back to Steve Bishop. He'll be handling the ball for the Eagles for the most part tonight. They go, nice pass inside. Doc Ward doesn't make the layup, though. And the rebound is muscled down by Dan Johnson, number 33. Nice outlet pass off the boards, Theron Ellis. And that's goaltending, folks.
Hey, we're less than a minute into the ball game, and we're seeing a track meet already. There's an indication of how high Theron Ellis can jump. He was way above the square to pitch that thing on the board. I'm surprised to see Wissahickon open up with a man-to-man defense. That's exactly what they're doing.
Theron Ellis with the jumper over Dan Johnson. Keith Jones fights for the rebound, though, goes up, he's fouled.
Did you see Ellis follow his shot that time?
It
wasn't a very good shot, but I tell you what, he went in to get the second effort, and he almost got it. He's been playing very well. He's playing within himself. He's not trying to do things that he can't do, and he's just serving his purpose for John Cresswell.
This guy right here.
No, I think
Who scored the second one? Oh, that's
43. Yeah, Stewart got both of them.
okay. Who made that one, right?
Keith Jones goes 1 for 2 at the line. So it's a 4-1 Wissahickon lead, and Norristown right away with the backcourt pressure. Outlet pass goes up court. I'll tell you, that's a little bit of a borderline call. Looked like Theron Ellis could have been called for a foul there.
I had my eye off that play, Jeff, but if he hit somebody, he could bet he felt it.
Well, the young man went to the ground, but no foul called, and Wissahickon takes control from the far sideline.
Norristown opens up with a box and one on 34, who is Dwight Weldon.
Dudley tries to go inside. They look down low to Dan Johnson. The pass wasn't there, though, as Mike Simpkins was there on defense.
Norristown opens up, showing a lot of respect for Weldon as a player, opening up with a box and one.
That's Kyle Wilson, number 12, and Terry Dudley, number 11, in the backcourt for Wissahickon. Mike Simpkins drives the baseline, puts the shot up, won't go for him. Rebound by Dan Johnson. The outlet pass comes again to Dwight Weldon. Weldon, oh my! What a stuff by Theron Ellis. My goodness.
I'll tell you what, I think he probably jumps higher than Darren Queenan did last year. I really do.
What a leap.
He just explodes off the floor. It's unbelievable.
I mean, Weldon went up there with a lot of confidence in that shot, and Ellis put it right back in his face. Steal by Keith Jones. Bishop gives it out to Jones on the outlet. Keith with the layup, and the basket's good. So
that's not intimidation. I don't know what is.
With 6:02 left in the first quarter, it's 4-3 Wissahickon up ahead of the Eagles by 1. Dudley brings the ball up court, pulls for the jumper at the baseline, or pardon me, at the free throw line. The basket's good. So Terry Dudley gets into the scorebooks. Keith Jones pulls up for the jumper, short. They knock the rebound away, but it's taken by number 34, Dwight Weldon. Jumper by Wilson, no good.
Jeff, here's an interesting comment. This young Dudley boy, all his brothers and sisters are Norristown High School graduates back in the late 60s, early 70s. Renee Dudley was a cheerleader. Lenore Dudley was a cheerleader at Norristown. And I taught them all in grade school. They were in Lincoln School.
This time, Dudley intimidated by Theron Ellis. And the rebound knocked out of bounds off of Wissahickon, and Norristown will control from their own baseline.
Impressed with Wissahickon up to this point. They take it and go when they have to and when they can.
I like Dan Johnson underneath. That time Steve Bishop with no shot, the follow by Doc Ward won't go. They tap it around. Keith Jones comes down, and Keith Jones has all 5 points for the Norristown Eagles in this ball game. 6-5 our score. Wissahickon up by 1. They beat the press again, and Dan Johnson's going to wait for a little bit of help this time.
Smart play by the big guy.
Milt Stewart won't go for him. Nice rebound by Doc Ward. That's a tough call there that time.
Tough call. You saw something I didn't see.
They called Doc Ward for traveling after that rebound. So Wissahickon gets a break, and they'll inbound the ball from their own offensive basket. Dudley looks outside for Weldon. There's nothing there. He's double teamed. This time the pass is knocked away by the basket. Doc Ward can't control the ball, and it's picked up by Weldon. They fight back. Keith Jones off the Bishop. Baseline jumper. I'll tell you, Steve Bishop has a deadly shot.
He's done a lot of practicing over the year because he's shooting real good.
And Norristown with their first lead in this ball game, 7-6. They dish off to Weldon, won't go.
That? Did you see Ellis do that? That big kid, 34, Weldon went up in the air, and Ellis was right with him. He intimidated him unbelievably.
That was a tough inbounds pass. Norristown lucky to come away with that one. Steve Bishop rushes the ball down court, looks inside for Keith Jones, and Terry Dudley gets in the way, but he can't control the intercepted pass. Out of bounds, Norristown with possession. We've got 4:18 left to go in the first quarter. The Eagles up 7-6. Oh, nice inbounds play.
Beautiful inbounds
Michael
play.
Simpkins off the inbounds pass from Steve Bishop. Beautiful setup that time by the Eagles. Milt Stewart. They come back outside. Wilson and Dudley control for the Trojans. And after taking a 6-2 advantage in this ballgame, the Eagles have outscored the Trojans by a big margin here. Trojans need a basket. Another deflection, this time by Keith Jones, and we're going to call a foul on number 34, I believe, Dwight Weldon. And a Into the ball game, number 14, Bill Baltrus. I believe we saw this young man last year, didn't we, Bill Baltrus?
I believe so, yes.
The name rings familiar. Simpkins pulls up for the jumper, won't go. Keith Jones fights for the rebound, but Baltrus comes down with it. They've got the break this time. Dan Johnson can't control. Blocked. And the foul's going to be called on Doc Ward or Theron Ellis, I believe. It's Theron Ellis.
I believe it was Ellis, yes.
Yeah, Theron Ellis commits the foul.
I tell you, Ellis is climbing all over that backboard. I don't see how they can possibly get some shots up there with a natural rhythm. Great intimidator.
Well, Dan Johnson is the tallest man out there at 6'4", so we don't have any really intimidating size on the floor tonight. And Milt Stewart throws up a brick on his first attempt off the front of the rim, no good. Stewart goes 1 for 2. Our score now 9-7. The Eagles with a 2-point advantage with 3:25 left to go in the first quarter. Mike Simpkins with a nice floating jump shot as he hits the baseline.
I'll tell you, WISSAHICKON's going to have to get back a little bit faster. Either that or cut that sideline pass off.
An 11-7 Eagle advantage. Dudley pulls up, won't go for him. WISSAHICKON's number 34, Dwight Weldon, puts the follow shot. Won't go, but he's fouled on the play.
That's his second on Ellis.
That time I thought Dan Johnson could have been called for an over-the-top foul on that rebound. I think WISSAHICKON got a break there.
Yeah, I think they did too. That's Ellis' second foul. It's a little bit early for him.
Well, Alan and I discussed this in the last ball game we did, Bill, that if Theron Ellis gets in trouble, he's right out of the ball game and he's not a factor, and they need Theron Ellis, I think, for that rebounding. I mean, obviously he's such an intimidating factor. To have him out of that ball game because of foul trouble is really tough for Norristown High.
Well, John's always been under the philosophy that you'd rather have him down the stretch. They got the game under control right now. They're 3 points ahead, and I think he'd rather have him at the end of the game rather than now.
I'll tell you, Mike Simpkins takes that ball inside and he's pounded. I think the foul's going to be on number 33, Dan Johnson, right. Substitution into the ball game. Kyle Wilson replaces Terry Dudley. We got 2:56 left to go in our first quarter. Off the heel of the rim, no good. Also into the ball game for Norristown, number 12, Steve Manning. Simpkins 0 for 2 at the line, but Doc Ward with a nice rebound, a turnaround shot from the lane, and Ward makes up for those missed free throws with a nice field goal. The Eagles take a 13-8 advantage. Baltrus hounded by the press. They got to get the ball across the timeline. 10 seconds, and that time the Norristown defensive pressure works absolutely perfectly.
It sure did. WISSAHICKON made a mistake there. They had that Bowser kid open in the middle, and they should have got to the middle right away and then took off with it. But they're too much bouncing in the ball. You can't dribble it too much. You got to pass the ball, reverse the ball from side to side, look to the middle, and then take off with it. That's the best way to beat a press.
And we've got a timeout on the floor with 2:38 left to go in our first quarter. And Bill, after a slow start, Norristown High, as you say, is taking control of this ball game late in the first quarter. I'm impressed with the Eagles.
Well, sooner or later, Norristown's going to make you pick up the tempo, whether it be on offense or defense. So if it looks like a slow game at the beginning, it's only a matter of time until the pace is picked up and the tempo gets to what they want, and that's a transition game.
Out on the floor right now, the Norristown High cheerleaders at both ends of the floor. And the crowd's starting to pick up, Bill. I noticed behind us we've got a big crowd on the WISSAHICKON side, and the Norristown stand starting to fill up. I think by the time our second ball game of the evening begins, we should have a packed house.
I think so. This is one of the better tournaments around year after year as far as crowds go. So we're looking to get a decent crowd both nights.
WISSAHICKON comes away with the ball, though. Wilson over to Baltrus. Looks for some help. Norristown staying in that zone defense.
They're playing boxing one yet.
Nice shot. Dwight Weldon with the turnaround. They worked that ball well that time to get the open shot for Weldon.
He's a good talent. He's strong. Shoot the ball.
Bishop double team puts that shot up. Manning was there for the follow, but the foul had been called on the shot, and Steve Bishop will go to the line.
Believe, Jeff, from Bishop will take 2.
And these should be 2 gimme points for Norristown. Steve doesn't miss too many free throws. Of course, that's the whammy. I'm sure he'll miss now.
That's usually the case. I'm betting on it.
Up, there's one for Steve. 14-10, the Eagles ahead. And that one rocks around and falls for Bishop, so it's 15-10 Eagle advantage with 2 minutes, just over 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. Steal by Bishop, nice play. He's got Keith Jones trailing. Bishop takes it himself, and he's pounded to the ground by Wilson.
I'll tell you what, Steve doesn't give any quarter, and he don't ask for any, because if somebody breaks away on him, you can bet he's not going to get the shot off. And when he gets hit hard on a breakaway, he doesn't mind, because he understands that's part of the game.
So Bishop right back to the line 8 seconds after he makes 2 free throws, with a chance to put Norristown up by their biggest advantage of the ball game. And that's it with a 6-point advantage. The Eagles up 16-10. And Wissahickons offense has really stalled here. The Norristown defense, I think, is the major factor. Bishop misses the second free throw. Knocks the ball out of bounds, though, and it's off of Bill Boutros trying to save it, so Norristown will retain possession.
Jeff, I sensed that the Wissahickons get a little bit unrattled, which they weren't at the beginning of the game, but they're 6 points down now. And it's really a little early to hit the panic button, but it looks like they're getting a little bit shaken.
That time, Bishop misses the layup, and Wissahickon comes away with the rebound. Dan Johnson, almost a travel there. Yeah, I was waiting for the call. It was a little bit delayed, but Dan Johnson definitely took that step.
Yes, he was.
Norristown's got to leave that help down there for the inbounds pass. The steal, oh, they missed the layup, and Doc Ward with a heck of a rebound. Boy, what arm extension to rip down that rebound. Oh, that time the bounce pass from Keith Jones, too strong, and Doc Ward can't handle it, but Ward has really impressed me with his rebounding ability.
On that turnover by Keith Jones, I'm not so sure it was his fault. Doc Ward slowed up just a little bit on the outside lane. Keith knew he was there, and he let the pass go by looking the other way. But
Dan Johnson goes inside, tries to pass the ball away. Ward can't save it, though. Dan Johnson looks a little bit uncomfortable when he's got to handle the ball, I think.
Well, he's not a ball handler, that's for sure.
And Alan tells me that Norristown has scored 16 of the last 22 points, Bill. The Eagles lead this ball game 16-10. Terry Dudley in the backcourt with control of the ball. Goes up top to Milt Stewart. Manning in his face. Doc Ward forces an air ball out of the Trojans, and Norristown will come back up court. Keith Jones finds Steve Manning. Manning can't control the ball.
Most of Norristown players jump so well, they all intimidate one of the opponent's shot.
Wilson brings the ball up court for the Trojans. We're under a minute now, folks, in the first quarter with 45 seconds left to go. 6-point Norristown lead. Wilson, shot from the outside, rolls around and falls for him, and that's the first Wissahickon point, and we've got a steal on the inbounds. Dwight Weldon dishes off to Wilson. Wilson with another layup. No, won't go. Rebound taken down. Still no possession. And Wissahickon comes up with it. Milt Stewart dishes off to Dan Johnson. They're going to play for the last shot with 16 seconds. They can cut the Norristown lead to 4, or rather to 2. They go inside to Johnson. Won't go. I'll tell you, that was Wissahickons' big opportunity right there. Bishop up court with 3 seconds. Oh, it's good at the buzzer. Steve Bishop, what a play. And Norristown will go to begin the second quarter with an 18-12 advantage instead of what should have been a 2-point advantage. Wissahickon really squandered an opportunity that last time, Bill.
Sure did. I thought they had a 3-second violation down the other end too, Jeff, but you know, those things happen. I tell you, every time I see Steve Bishop play, I'm more impressed with him. He had such good court sense. He knew exactly how much time was on the clock. He knew what he had to do to get that last shot off. and he just shot it as if he was shooting a foul shot. He's just becoming a better player every night.
I'll tell you, as soon as he put the ball up in the air, you signaled a basket, and you were absolutely right. He just drilled that shot through the bottom of the net.
You've been around shots as long as I have. It's just to tell whether they have a chance or not, and some that don't have a chance go in.
So the Eagles, after 1 quarter of play, with a 6-point advantage. And I think John Cresswell's got to be happy with that. I mean, Wissahickon coming into this ball game figured to be the toughest opposition in this tournament for Norristown, and the Eagles playing well. I think they just got to maintain that level of play that they've got right now.
They're playing with a lot of intensity, like they always do. And you know, when you're 6 points ahead at the end of the quarter, that's a good sign. You get that first quarter under your belt, get a little of the cobwebs out. But Wissahickon's a good club. I'm impressed with them. They became a little unrattled there at one point against the press. They got to think about getting it up a little bit faster.
This time, Mike Simpkins will jump for Norristown. Theron Ellis still on the bench with 2 personal fouls, as we mentioned to you before. Steve Manning in there in place of Theron Ellis. The rest of the starters remain the same. Same 5 out there for Wissahickon. Dan Johnson wins the tap, but Keith Jones takes it away. Oh, my goodness. Nice block that time by Milt Stewart. Came crashing down on that layup.
Very nice block.
Doc Ward goes back outside to Keith Jones. John Cresswell wants to work his offense around. Bishop's going to go into the lane, take the shot. Won't go, but he's fouled on the play. And that's number 12. Kyle Wilson committing the offense.
Bishop's first step's getting a little bit quicker too, and that's important when you're going to drive to the basket, that quick first step.
Steve Bishop shooting 75%, make that 80% now, 4 of 5 from the line. Like the way I can convert those percentages like that. I'll tell you, that's that calculus course I had. And Steve Bishop now 5 of 6 from the line. And the Eagles with an 8-point advantage, 20-12 early in the second quarter. They need some help. They got to get this ball over the timeline, and they do. Dudley comes all the way down court, only to throw the ball out of bounds on an errant pass that time.
I think once they get that above half court, they got to pull up and set up a little bit. They're trying to take it all away and they're having trouble with it.
Norristown also having trouble getting the ball in bounds. They come back court. Oh, I'll tell you, that's a tough call for that official to make from his position. I think the official coming up court would have been in a better position to make the call.
He was way out of position for that. That's the back official's call.
I'll tell you, we have a real good perspective on that call, folks, where we're right at midcourt, at courtside. Didn't look to us like a backcourt violation, but the officials are the ones who count when it comes to that situation. So Wissahickon with possession. Now, is that Norristown in a man-to-man now, or no, they drop back in the zone?
Still in a box and 1. We're playing Weldon man-to-man.
And a steal off the rebound, Dan Johnson. Oh, Doc Ward just swarms over that shot, and they're going to call the foul on Doc, though.
I think so.
Yeah, I think he got some arm that time, but he was way up top that time.
It's unbelievable how they can jump, because every player on the floor for Norristown can intimidate the shooter. And this kid here, 33, Dan Johnson, is the biggest kid on the floor.
So Johnson at the line, shooting 2. First one won't go for him. Of course, this game being brought to you by the Norristown Area School District. Mr. Tony Coy, your Director of Communications. Tonight, Mr. Sam Galbraith, taking care of all of our production work and camera work. Johnson, 0 for at the line that time, and Norristown comes away with the rebound. So with 7 minutes left to go in the first half, the Eagles with a 20-12 lead. They go inside to Manning, turnaround, tries to fade away, he's stuffed. Wilson comes away with it. Oh, he's tripped up.
I think by Manning on that one. That was an excuse me foul.
That was Manning was just running up behind him, and Wilson got his feet tangled up, and they're going to call the foul on Manning.
It's still not 1-on-1 yet, so it didn't hurt, but I don't think he meant to do that. That was an accident.
Wilson's going to look for some help. He's got Milt Stewart. Oh, way off that time. The Eagle jumper's got right in his face. Simpkins goes to Keith Jones. Jones comes down court, puts the shot up, way off, but he's obviously fouled on the play. Alan Rowley tells me Mike Simpkins only 4 points in this ball game, but Steve Bishop, the big scorer, with 9 points for the Eagles. Keith Jones has 5, and Doc Ward rounding out the Eagles scoring with 2 points. Milt Stewart, the leading scorer for the Trojans so far, followed by Dwight Weldon with 3, Terry Dudley and Kyle Wilson with 2 apiece. For Milt Stewart, he's got 5 points.
Who was that foul on, Jeff? You know?
Now that time down the court, I didn't see the foul, Bill.
Okay, we'll get it at half.
It was inside, but we're not certain. Keith Jones misses both, though, and the Trojans come away with the rebound. Wilson up court. Finds Milt Stewart. They work the ball around. We've got another substitution in there, number 44 into the ball game. That's John Sheffrey.
Who's that?
John Sheffrey, number 44, replacing Dwight Weldon. Dudley has no place to go, comes back outside with a looping pass, taken by Wilson. He's got the open jumper. Oh, rolls around for him, he gets the bounce. Our score now 20-14. Eagles come up court, 3-on-3. They go into Doc Ward, he's fouled, the basket's good. We're gonna have a continuation call, and Sheffrey guilty of the offense and chance for a 3-point play for Doc Ward.
Is that Shepard or Sheffrey?
I believe it's Sheffrey.
Sheffrey, okay. Andy Town's coming in for Norristown in place of Manning.
Yeah, Andy's seen some limited opportunities this year to play off the bench for John Cresswell. Some of the earlier ball games, Cresswell was able to clear his bench, get all of his players into the ball game for a substantial amount of the time. Of course, Norristown crushing the Chamonix earlier this year in a league contest. And a 3-point play for Doc Ward as he sinks that free throw. So a 9-point Eagle advantage, 23-14. Dan Johnson wide open. Oh, no, he travels. Sorry, Dan, you got to take that ball to the floor if you're going to take those steps. Double substitution now. Dwight Weldon back into the ball game. Also coming in, number 41 for the Trojans, Ken Jones. And it looks like head coach Bob Ambler is going to use all his players tonight, Bill.
I think so. It looks that way anyway. I was talking to him before the game. He said he uses about 7 or 8 players.
Doc Ward takes it off the tap. Won't go for him. Rebound, though, by Doc. Again, shot no good. Andy Town with the follow-up. So Norristown fights for 3 offensive rebounds, and they get a basket out of it.
You never quit. You never know where that ball's going to come off.
Oh, okay, Terry Dudley there to pick up that pass. Got a wide open man on the right side. The shot's good that time from Ken Jones. Jones just into the ballgame. Oh, Mike Simpkins had the outlet pass. Didn't field it cleanly, but he still got a shot, and the basket's good for Michael. The pace starting to pick up a little bit, Bill, as Norristown still maintaining that 9-point, 27-16 advantage. Terry Dudley got some help to Sheffrey. Sheffrey with a big air ball. Doc Ward outlets to Andy Town. Town across midcourt. Dishes off to Keith Jones.
Then he called traveling. Oh, he called a foul.
I thought it was going to be traveling also. It looked like Jones walking backwards might have traveled, but they called the foul down low.
41. I think Ken Jones is 41, right?
Ken Jones, that's correct. We've got 4:48 left to go in the half, folks. We've got a timeout on the floor. (27-16), the Eagles ahead. Just while we've got a moment, I'd like to remind you this tournament and this ball game being sponsored by the Montgomery County Triangle Club. And just to give you a brief overview of what the Triangle Club is all about, the club's a non-profit organization formed to aid and assist worthy students of Montgomery County in securing higher education, to promote the general interest of athletic activities, and to recognize and pay tribute to students and adults of Montgomery County for accomplishments in athletic endeavors and good citizenship. The names of individuals winning awards for the Triangle Club's Roll of Honor will be permanently inscribed on the Roll of Honor. Membership of the Montgomery County Triangle Club is open to all sports-minded individuals interested in furthering the Triangle Club's purposes.
Very good, Jeff.
Read it just the way it's printed on the program, Bill. Of course, the Triangle Club has an annual awards banquet. They contribute to the Montgomery County All-Star Football Game. They have the Scholarship Fund presenting the Judge William Danahauer Award, contribute to various individuals and teams throughout the county, as well as sponsoring this holiday tournament and a vacation auction, which will be
coming up soon, and that's an excellent thing. We get some good vacation, and people get for very reasonable prices.
Keith Jones 1 for 4 from the line tonight, make that 2 for 5. Jones makes them both, 29-16. The press beaten by Weldon this time. They go up court to Sheffrey. He I thought he was going to be called for traveling there, but Steve Bishop called for a foul.
I wanted this in, I believe.
So far in the second quarter, Bill, the Eagles have outscored the Trojans 11-4 with a 29-16 advantage in this ball game. They're certainly opening up the lead that WISSAHICKON does not want to see materialize. Sheffrey drills the first one on the 1-and-1.
Norristown's got things in gear now. They're not wasting any time. They're going to take it to him. And that's their game, Jeff.
Sheffrey misses the second. Doc Ward comes away for the Eagles with the rebound. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go here in the first half. Bishop's shot won't go for him, but he's fouled as he drives towards the lane.
I'm a little surprised that Coach Ambler's staying in the man right now, because it seems to me they're not going to be able to handle Norristown as quickly. They're slowly pulling away, and I think they're going to have to change soon.
29-17 our score. Bishop makes the second. Score now 30-17. WISSAHICKON being hounded defensively by Norristown. They've got Sheffrey wide open. Shot won't go for him. He was intimidated that time. But Dwight Weldon made a heck of a play to follow that shot up. Outlet to Michael Simpkins. Nope, way too far. Won't go for him. The Eagles throw that ball away and give the Trojans a chance to narrow the Norristown advantage a little bit.
Weldon's got a lot of ability. He shows me a lot of potential, but Norristown, Doc Ward's staying very close to him. Well, they got Andy Town on him now. In the box of one.
They fight for on the ground. Going to have a jump ball. Keith Jones and Jones for Jones. Okay.
Ken and Keith.
Had myself confused. Which is not easy to do. Although some people would disagree with that.
This is a basket. Not in here.
Kyle Davis, open shot, follows his own shot, goes right inside to Weldon.
That was an excellent pass.
He was, and that time Weldon was right open for the easy shot. Wilson made the correct pass. Keith Jones all the way in himself, won't go. Michael Simpkins with the rebound. He's fouled by Wilson, I believe. 30-21 our score, a 9-point Norristown lead.
Sheffrey, 44.
Sheffrey from behind that time commits the foul. Michael Simpkins shooting 2. First one drops through the bottom of the net. Got some substitutions. Milt Stewart back into the ball game, as is Stan Johnson for WISSAHICKON. Keith Jones going to take a seat for the Eagles. He's being replaced by number 23 for Norristown, Michael Jordan.
Mike Jordan. I'm anxious to see him play. He's got a lot of ability.
Simpkins makes both. 32-21. Norristown ahead with 3:33 left to go in the first half. Dudley looks to Weldon. Weldon goes up over top. Mike Simpkins. No, they're going to call the foul on Andy Town. Now, we haven't seen Theron Ellis since, I guess about 5 minutes into the first quarter.
John will save him for the second half. He doesn't need him right now. He's going to need him down the stretch, possibly. And he's always been under the philosophy that if he gets 2 quick fouls, get him out of there.
Weldon nails the first free throw. Weldon bangs down both. So it's a 9-point Eagle lead again. Jordan outlets to Steve Bishop. Bishop loses the handle. Mike Simpkins can't control. I think the Eagles might be a little bit out of control here.
I think so, yeah. I was just about ready to say that. I don't think they had to do that with 9 points ahead. They can come up and set up. They've been going to the foul line and scoring good baskets when they come up and set. They're really taking it to the basket a little bit too much on the break.
Kyle Davis does a nice job beating the press. Pardon me, Kyle Wilson. Steal by Andy Towns, saved, but Kyle Wilson, we've got a 3-on-none. And an easy layup right there for number 43. Milt Stewart.
He looked like he was a little embarrassed to shoot it. He's never embarrassed about those guys.
It's only a 7-point Eagle lead now. They lose the ball again. It's going to be a breakaway. Dudley. Doc Ward gets back. Oh, what a pass to Dan Johnson. I'll tell you, Dudley really made a smart play there.
Very nice play by Dudley. You see, that's what happens when you get 9, 10 points ahead and you get out of control. Just like that, the momentum changed. There was no need for Norristown to run up down the floor at that point. They got the 9 or 10-point lead. They could have scored very easily if they had come up and set up at half court. I know it's John's philosophy, and that's his game. That's the way he wants them to play. But I'm sure that he doesn't want them to go out of control. It got to be like a one-on-one show. It's my turn this time, you know. And when they did set up at half court, play half court offense, they got some good drives to the basket. They got some people open, and they got to the foul line almost every time. I think what they've been doing the last 2 or 3 minutes is really not necessary.
Well, Norristown will build up a 13-point advantage here in this second quarter. The score now is 32-27, only a 5-point lead, and Wissahickon has had the momentum shift to their side. They're playing good basketball right now. They're pressuring Norristown on the inbound, and Norristown is letting them back into this ball game by committing those easy turnovers and the silly plays down court.
I think when you have a transition game, the momentum can change so fast it isn't funny, and that's just what you saw in the last 5 minutes.
I'll tell you what, I was really impressed by that last play from Terry Dudley. To drop off that pass, he saw Doc Ward behind him, dropped off to Dan Johnson for the easy basket. And Wissahickon scored 6 uncontested points, 6 layups. They can score like that, they're going to be tough for Norristown.
And now we got Wissahickon dropping back into a straight zone.
And you've been waiting for that.
I could be wrong. It's like they're playing Bishop man-to-man.
Jordan, I don't like that shot.
In the box of 1.
Jordan throws up a brick. Wissahickon can cut the Norristown lead to 3 points. We've got just over 2 minutes left to go in the first half. Oh, what a block by Jordan. Can't save the ball, though, as he goes flying through the Wissahickon bench. And Jordan will work his way back around the right way this time to come back onto the floor. He gets an A for effort that time and a nice block on the play. Dudley goes outside to Wilson. Turnaround shot.
Who scored that? The left-hander, 43.
Milt Stewart. That was Milt Stewart with the basket. Eagles have got to get the ball across the timeline. Andy Town gives the ball off. They've got Doc Ward on the baseline. Goes in, no, won't go. Rebound. Wissahickon comes up court with 1:34 left to go in the first half. It's a 3-point ball game, folks. The Eagles with a 32-29 advantage. And Wissahickon has scored 8 unanswered points. Oh, Wilson with a chance to cut it to 1. Misses the shot. Bishop on the outlet. He's got Dudley back, though, on defense. They come up to Andy Town, works his way underneath. Reverse layup. Oh, won't go.
Now, what? This kid Dudley, Jeff, just put a very smart move. He got the rebound, or got the pass from the rebound. Just said, let's settle things down, take your time.
Tell you how the tide has changed, Bill. Wissahickon has scored 13 of the last 16 points. Andy Town almost comes up with a steal, dives on the floor. They go down low to Weldon, won't go for him. Johnson, they tap the rebound away. It's going to be out of bounds on Milt Stewart. And Keith Jones back into the ballgame for the Eagles. Andy Town's going to take a seat. Bill Boutrous back into the game for the Trojans.
Andy did a nice job of the short stay there. He was very aggressive on defense, had a couple good steals. Did a nice job. He's going to be good coming off the bench for most of the year.
Keith Jones with a bad pass there. Mike Jordan saves the ball. Bishop takes it in all the way himself. We're going to call a blocking foul. That's always a judgment call. You got to know whether that man has his feet planted or not. And that time Weldon called for the blocking foul. So we've got 34 seconds left to go here in the half. The Eagles still have that 3-point advantage, and Manning's going to replace Jordan.
still the toughest call in the game to make.
Steve Bishop makes the first one. Bishop good for 2. 34-29, Norristown with a 5-point lead. 34 seconds to go in the half. The inbound pass comes to Weldon. He looks for some help. They get a ball up court to Dudley. He's the man they want with the ball. Double teamed by Jones and Simpkins. Now he comes back outside and Norristown will drop back. Looping pass over to Baltrus inside. Nice work. Oh, that time they worked the ball beautifully inside.
Very nice play. The old high-low play gets low.
That's a good call right in front of us.
A lot of hustle there.
Bill Baltrus knocked that ball out of bounds right in front of us. Steve Bishop has 9 seconds with which to work with here with the Norristown Eagles to get to 2 more points on the board. Bishop's shot goes and a foul is called. I'll tell you, Steve Bishop really worked the foul that time. Just edged into Bill Baltrus just enough to draw that foul from the official and made the basket.
I think so. You know, we just saw an out-of-bounds play that is so natural. It's a give and go. You know, I don't think anything like that was set up. Just he made a quick pass, he made it quick behind him, back cut, got the ball back, and we got a 3-point play.
Norristown with a chance to go into the locker room with a much more comfortable edge than I thought they were going to have. They're ahead 37-31. WISSAHICKON has 6 seconds to score here. 4 seconds. Dudley's got to shoot. Nope, he's not going to get a shot off. No shot. End of the first half. And the Eagles go into the locker room with a 6-point lead, 37-31. Bill Allen and I will be back in just a moment with some thoughts about the first half of play. Score is 37-31. I'm Jeff Brennan here with Alan Raleigh. And Alan, I'll tell you, in the first quarter, I thought WISSAHICKON looked good at the very beginning of the ball game. Norristown really took control at the end of the first quarter. Norristown obviously dominated the beginning of the second quarter. WISSAHICKON came back, and yet the Norristown swayed it back to their side towards the end of the half. I think Bill capsulized it when he said that, you know, with a fast-moving transition game like both of these ball clubs play, momentum can shift so furiously. It's incredible, and I think that's what we've seen here tonight.
Absolutely. We saw Norristown come out in the second quarter. Entering that second frame, they had a 6-point lead. Immediately, they go on a tear where I think they scored 12 of the next 16 points. Then at the other end of the floor, WISSAHICKON starts burning on their own end because they score 13 of the next 16 points in the game. Ironically, we come in at halftime, and it's still Norristown by 6 points. A couple of surprising facts, though. In the first quarter, Norristown, first of all, they used the pressure up and down the court, and it harassed the WISSAHICKON guards. They had some problems getting the ball up court. However, in the second quarter, they seemed to adjust to that. But I'm kind of surprised about they didn't get the ball down low to Weldon, to Johnson, and to Stewart, especially since Theron Ellis only played 4 minutes in this ball game. He was on the bench early with 2 personal fouls 4 minutes into the contest. Weldon and Stewart both have 9 points here at half, but I'd say the majority of them came in the latter stages of the first half.
Well, John Questwell is obviously devoting a lot of attention to Weldon. They've got the box and one, and they're playing that one man-on-man, man-to-man defense with Weldon, and I think he's had a tough time getting the ball down low. I think in the second quarter he came to life a little bit more than he had early in the ball game, but I think that's what Cresswell wants to key on. Those 3 big guys, Stewart, Johnson, and Weldon, are the scorers. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm really impressed with Terry Dudley. He can control an offense. He's a quick little guard, but they've got to get the scoring out of the big guys down front. And I think that, you know, we've seen 2 evenly matched ball clubs. I think, though, that Norristown, even though they dominated this game in the second quarter a bit, I think they got out of hand there at the end of the second quarter. They weren't taking the good shot. I think Steve Bishop calmed things down a little bit towards the end of the half, where he was taking his percentage shot. You can't just fly down court and put the ball up because they weren't getting any kind of a decent shot.
And also you had to consider the fact that you had Michael Jordan in there, Steve Manning, Andy Town, most of your bench players. These guys round out your top 8 or 9 players coming off the bench for John Cresswell's troop. And that definitely had, I think, a big effect on the flow of this ball game. We touched on it in the pregame show. You can have a fast tempo game, but it has to be somewhat under control. And you're absolutely right with it. That's the effect Steve Bishop had on this offense. He slowed things down, and yet when it came time to really turn on the juice on the fast break, he did it.
Okay, Norristown, I think John Cresswell's going to say, look, guys, you know, let's play under control. You're winning this ball game. Let's do what you have been doing. And I think Theron Ellis back in there is going to be a big advantage for Norristown in the second half.
Sure, his shot blocking abilities alone and his defensive rebounding. You see that intimidation and how he can strike the fear in players coming down for that so-called easy layup, and they've got to worry about Theron coming by and swatting the ball into the stands.
Okay, it should be an exciting second half of play, Al. We'll be back. You'll be doing the play-by-play in our third quarter. Bill Werkheiser will be back with us for the third quarter, and we'll see you in just a moment.
Okay, we are just about ready here for the second half tap. Norristown up 37-31, and we're going to have a re-jump here. Both centers took off a little too quickly for the referees. Set you those lineups. Jumping center for the Eagles, Theron Ellis, number 14. And we're going to do this for the third time, and hopefully they'll get it right. Keith Jones, number 11, and Michael Simpkins, number 24, your forwards for the Eagles. Number 22, John Ward, and number 20, Steve Bishop, your backcourters. Simpkins pops the first shot for the Eagles here in the second half. Give Mike 10 points in the ball game. He's been averaging around 21 this season. Setting the Wissahickons lineup here. Number 34 is Dwight Weldon. Number 43, Milt Stewart. Number 33, Dan Johnson in the backcourt. Number 11, Terry Dudley, and number 12, Kyle Wilson. Picked off by the Eagles. Mike Simpkins thinking dunk, and that's what he goes for.
I'll tell you what, Alan,
12.
Keith Jones pulled off a great basketball play there. It was a loose ball. He just tipped it to Simpkins.
And now the other end, Bishop once again feeds inside. The shot is missed by the Eagles. Taken by number 34, Dwight Weldon. And that time, number 11, Terry Dudley forced it a little bit, but he nailed it for two. And it's 41-33, Norristown expanding their lead to 8 points. Bishop getting around Wilson. His jumper falls short, taken down by the Trojans. Wissahickon coached by Bob Ambler, assisted by Ralph Lowe. Eagles, of course, head coach John Cresswell. Number 34 there, Dwight Weldon, gets the ball down low and in the paint, puts it up. He has 11 now in this game.
Alan, what class is this young Dudley kid in? Is he a junior, senior, what?
Terry Dudley, 5'9", he's a junior. For Wissahickon.
He's a nice little guard. He plays under control, knows exactly what he's doing.
Almost coming up with the steal that time was Weldon. Simpkins that time, I think it was an intended alley-oop pass for Ward. Bounced off the rim, he rebounded it himself. Bishop setting things up now. Goes to the left side of the circle now, trying to drive, pulls it back out. Jones cutting across down the baseline to go to Simpkins. Turnaround jumper, nice shot by Michael Simpkins.
Simpkins and Johnson are having a few words. They're playing word games with each other.
Oh, that time Dudley throws the pass, and number 43, Milt Stewart, not looking, it bounced right off his back into the hands of the Eagles. They convert on John Ward's layup. And
very nice break, very nice break.
And very quickly, the Eagles are up by 10 here again. Eagles trapping Wilson over on the side. Jones coming up with the steal. He drives to the hoop. He draws the foul, too. The guilty party, number 11, Terry Dudley.
Timeout for Wissahickon. They better get themselves together. They'll run right out of here.
Came out very flat here in the second half.
How important the first 2 or 3 minutes of the second half is. They were only 6 down in a couple minutes. Now they're 10, and they're a little bit out of control, a little unrattled. I remember when I used to coach playing a good team, I used to tell them that the first couple minutes of the second half is going to mean an awful lot, whether you're in the game down the stretch or not, especially against a good ball club, which Wissahickon is.
But your last year coaching was 79 here, right?
80.
80, that was the year that you won the district?
District final, lost to Reading in the quarterfinals of state playoff.
And I think that was the year you came into the Triangle tournament in the championship game undefeated and were knocked off by St. Pius.
I believe you're right.
Yeah, Tom McGee's St. Pius squad.
You're right. Tommy had an excellent team, and they were well coached. They went on to win the state championship that year in the Class C, I believe.
I realize for bringing that up, you won't talk to me now for the rest of the night.
Certainly
But
will. That's in the past. This is a new era now.
Okay. Keith Jones will be going to the line here. The foul was whistled on number 11. That's Terry Dudley, 5'9" junior guard for Wissahickon. A couple of substitutions, let's see, in there for the Trojans, number 14, Bill Baltras. He's a 6-foot senior. And Jones converts. He has 8 now in this ball game. 46-35. Eagles opening up an 11-point lead. That's their biggest of the game. And Jones and Ward trap Dudley right in front of us.
Dudley made a very bad mistake at that time. He dribbled right into a trap area that coaches like to see you stay away from.
That shot, no good. Johnson pulls it down, saves it from out of bounds, but the follow-up, no good. Finally, Keith Jones gets it. The ball's loose. Wissahickon coming up with it. Number 34, Dwight Weldon going in for the layup, and he is fouled by Theron Ellis. And that is the 3rd personal on Ellis in this game.
That's his 3rd foul. I wouldn't be surprised John gets him out there for a little while.
Dwight Weldon with 11 points so far in this one. Wissahickon staring at an 11-point deficit at the moment. And Weldon misses both of them, but Baltras comes up with the rebound. He is slapped on the arm by Keith Jones, so Baltras will be taking a trip to the charity stripe. Tell you, Bill, an enthusiastic crowd here. The Wissahickon folks making a lot of noise in this Norristown gymnasium.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Wissahickon High School is an excellent sports school. When they get a good ball club, they're going to follow them right to the hill.
And Baltras gets his first 2 of the evening, cutting Wissahickon's deficit to 9 now, 46-37. Keith Jones in the open court, pulls up for that jumper, gets his own rebound, pops it off the glass. I'll tell you, that time Keith pulled up, and I don't think he knew what he wanted to do with it.
Keith is having a good night, and I'll tell you, that's just what Norristown needs. I think if they get a 3rd player that can average in the double figures, they're going to be tough to beat. And I think Keith...
Once again, Dudley getting trapped over there on the far sideline.
Keith has the ability to be a scorer.
And Theron gets a partial block on that one. Baltras pulling down the board, going inside to Johnson. Nice pass that time. Bill Baltras inside to Dan Johnson. Bishop having some pressure put on him in the corner. He gets it to Ellis, who goes right back to Bishop, crosses the timeline. Bishop had Simpkins wide open on the baseline, didn't spot him, dribbles down to the baseline, now back outside to John Ward. He gives it back to Steve. Bounce pass to Simpkins on the line. His jumper is short. Simpkins gets it back, though, and around the rim and good. So good rebounding that time by Norristown.
Simpkins can play.
And Mike Simpkins and Steve Bishop, each with 15 points. Keith Jones with 10. Correction, make that Simpkins with 16 now. At the other end, Weldon misses the layup. It's tapped around. Wissahickon retrieving it. Johnson goes up for the shot. He is pushed, and Doc Ward is the guilty party.
That's his 2nd for the night.
And Doc Ward's one of those guys where his contributions in the box score don't appear to be that great, yet he really is a steadying influence out there on the floor.
Yeah, he plays a good game. He's been guarding Weldon all night in the box and 1, and you know, it's tough to do that and contribute that much offensively because it takes a lot out of it. As a coach would probably tell you to just concentrate on shutting this kid down, and that's exactly what he's doing.
And I'll tell you, Bill, Wissahickon's free throw problems continue, and that'll kill you, especially when you're looking at this big of a deficit here, 13 points. Johnson converts 1 of 2, so it is now Norristown 50, Wissahickon 38, 3:40 and counting to go here in the 3rd quarter. Simpkins loses it. Keith Jones recovers, though, alertly. Bishop doesn't spot Ward, who's wide open on the left side. His shot is short. Johnson looking for someone, finally has Terry Dudley. Dudley pushing the ball up court. He goes over to Milt Stewart now, down in the corner to Johnson. Johnson loses control. It was knocked out of his hands by Simpkins. They fight for it. Theron Ellis coming up with the ball for the Eagles. Ellis airs it out. I think it was intended for Simpkins, but the guard at the door caught it.
Like he was throwing a forward pass on that one, didn't it?
Okay, we come back up the other way now. get it down to Baltrus. He pops from outside off the side of the rim. Right there, though, Weldon with the rebound, and he puts it in. And Dwight Weldon coming on now, 13 points.
Wyatt 13, too. There's a bad shot.
And Weldon with the ball. 50-42. Wissahickon down by 8 now. 2:40 left to go here in the third frame. Baltrus over in the corner looking for some help. Bounces it off of Ward's legs.
See, what we saw there with Keith Jones, and I'm not knocking him, is that he just come down and let a jump shot fly. It looks like he made up his mind at half court he was going to shoot it, but there was nobody underneath. He was covered. It was just a bad shot, that's all.
And inside they go to Dan Johnson. Johnson gets the bucket off the glass, and he also draws the blocking foul. He'll be heading to the line. Opportunity for a three-point play, and it seems Wissahickon has made a big effort here to get the ball inside the Johnson more in the third quarter.
Was that foul on Ellis?
Yeah, that was on Theron Ellis' fourth.
Yeah.
So he's quickly back on the bench next to John Cresswell, and in the game, Steve Manning, 6-foot senior for the Eagles. Oh, and Johnson misses another free throw. He's missed 4 of his 6 attempts here in the third quarter.
Good free throw shooter.
And Wissahickon still down by 6, 50-44. Bishop looks like he forced that one a little bit.
Wasn't a good shot either.
At the other end, Johnson driving in, and that shot is blocked by Steve Manning. Steve skied for that one. Dudley pops from outside, no good. Right into the hands of Mike Simpkins, who leads the Eagles breaks. He pulls up, brings it over the timeline, swings it down to Keith Jones. Jones gets by Baltrus, pulls up for the open jumper, and it's good. And Bill, that's what you were saying earlier. Another forced shot, but that time he cans it.
What can I say? I didn't think it was a very good shot either, but he did make it. Sometimes that happens.
And Jones, good defensive play there, knocks it out of the hands of one of the Wissahickon players, and Simpkins recovers it.
Call, a little contact, but no call.
Bishop pulling it out. Minute 40 to go here in the third quarter. 52-44 Eagles on top. Ward swings it down to Jones on the baseline, wide open, and he nails another one. And Keith Jones now with 14 points in this game, Bill. Dudley gets it up to, what was that, number 34, Dwight Weldon. He draws the foul.
Michael Simpkins, that's his first. Keith Jones played an excellent game tonight offensively. He made a few mistakes, but like I said, if they can get him in the scoring column on double figures, it'll be tough to beat.
And I'll tell you, Wissahickon's shooting here from the line is just awful in this third quarter. Yeah. They could have easily been into this ball, tied in this ball game if they would have converted.
Absolutely.
Another 0 for 2. Minute 12 here, 54-44 Eagles by 10. Ward shot a little too hard off the backside of the rim. Simpkins pulls it down. No good. Finally, Dan Johnson with the rebound.
There's a lot of jumping going on out there tonight, Alan. They're playing up above that rim.
Well, this isn't one of your all-time great defensive clashes, that's for sure.
No.
But it's entertaining.
That's exactly what I was about ready to say. Before the game started, you said it would be entertaining, and it is that.
Johnson and Weldon that time just playing volleyball up there. Finally, Weldon putting it in. Weldon intercepts at the half-court line, but it goes off his hands. And the Eagles seem to want to tantalize their fans here. They'll get up by 10 or 12, then they'll see their lead drop to 4 to 6.
Yeah. Well, if you stay with a transition game from start to finish, that happens sometimes.
And Bishop, Simpkins, and Ward have played every minute in this game. Jones, hot hand. Oh, Keith can do no wrong at the moment. 4 straight buckets.
Pick it up.
Bishop, and we are going to have a jump ball here between Bishop and Dudley.
Dudley was a little confused there. He thought if he would touch it again, it would be called as a discontinuous double dribble, whatever they call it nowadays. But I think he could have picked it up but not dribble again, that's all.
Let me ask you, I'm kind of surprised that Kyle Wilson isn't in the game. I thought in the second quarter when they made their run, Wilson and Dudley in the backcourt combined very effectively.
Played very well together. I'm sure he'll be in there before the night's over.
Baltrus up to Dudley now. 4 seconds left to go in the third quarter. They try to force it inside, and Johnson with the easy layup.
That was an excuse me basket.
That's the truth. He just looked up and he got that one. So as we enter the fourth quarter, Norristown 56 and Wissahickon 48.
Make sure I get that. Yeah, take it upstairs to the guys. You should know that.
Yes, I know.
It's begging a little bit, that's all. Yeah, my father was pretty big.
Okay, we've got 1 quarter left to play. The Eagles with an 8-point advantage, 56-48. I'd like to mention a couple of my friends here in the stands, Joe Jenkins, Tim Sean, Phil Bugg, Sean McDevitt. Get all my personal plugs in, all these guys home for holiday vacation. This is the holiday tournament, so you got a lot of your returning alumni here to come to the holiday basketball games.
Did you get a chance to talk to Phil Bugg?
Yes, I did. Phil playing for Widener, starting for Widener. 6-1 his club is. They've only lost to Glassboro this year, and they're expecting a ranking pretty soon.
Phil had a lot of potential when he was here at Norristown. I was wondering how he was doing. I knew that the coach, Coach Alan Rowe, was very impressed with him last year, and he expected a lot from him for the next couple of years down there.
Well, Phil is only a sophomore at Widener, so into the starting lineup already is a nice accomplishment for him.
He's in a good program, Jeff.
All right, Wissahickon's got their work cut out for them. Johnson easily wins the tap. Bill Baltrus controls for the Trojans. They're going to work for the good shot. Milt Stewart, arcing shot, way off base though. Mike Simpkins outlets to Keith Jones. Oh, nice pass by Jones. Back to Michael Simpkins, and the basket's good.
They come at you.
Eagles up by 10. Milt Stewart whipped that pass into Dwight Weldon, couldn't handle it, and Doc Ward comes away for the Eagles. With a 10-point advantage, I think we're going to see Norristown take their time on their shots here in this final quarter. They go inside to Simpkins with the turnaround, no shot, partially blocked. Keith Jones comes away with a rebound with the turnaround. Oh my! Keith Jones really is hot, folks. That turnaround jumper banks it off the glass and in.
He's having the best night of the year for him so far.
Michael Simpkins and Keith Jones have 18 points apiece. Dan Johnson with an easy layup, nice ball control. And Steve Manning got smashed in the face, it looked like, and he is hurt down on the floor. And John Cross will have to take a look at Manning. Tell you what, though, interesting point. Steve Bishop has no points in the second half. He finished the first half with 15. He still has 15. It's been Michael Simpkins and Keith Jones that have taken over the scoring for the Eagles.
Well, you know, that's even better for Norristown when you have somebody score 15 the first half, come out and not score a point the second half and still be 10 points ahead. Steve is the second leading scorer in the area, second leading scorer for Norristown's team, and he hasn't scored in the second half. Keith Jones has picked up the slack in the second half. And I still say if they can get that kid to score more points for them, they're going to be a tough team to beat. That'll give them 3 people in double figures. And the type of game they play, they're going to be competitive in any game they play.
And Andy Town is replacing Steve Manning. So it's 6:46 left to go in the game. This first round of the Triangle Club tournament. It's 60-50. Norristown up by 10. Bishop all the way down to Doc Ward. He's open. Oh, Doc short on that layup. The Trojans come back down court. Dudley's going to pull up for the jumper. Won't go. Followed by Johnson. Won't go. And Keith Jones rips down the board. Nice bounce pass to Steve Bishop. Bishop with Dudley on him. Bishop with that left-handed shot. Won't go for him. Doc Ward on the follow. Basket's good, and the foul on Bill Baltrus, so Doc Ward with a chance for a three-point play.
Before the night's over, you'll ever see 4 or 5 people from Norristown double figures. We get Ward in double figures, then you really got something going. And Doc can score. He's not a great outside shooter, but he'll get a lot of those garbage baskets on the offensive board.
62-50, the Eagles up by 12. Of course, the winner of this ball game will face the winner of the Kenrick-Souderton game to come later on this evening. We'll be bringing you the championship ball game right here on the Norristown High cable channel, and Doc Ward makes that free throw for a three-point play and a 13-point Norristown lead. They've still got that backcourt pressure. 3-on-2 now. Nice pass that time. Off to Sheffrey. The basket's good, and another three-point opportunity at the other end of the court this time.
I think that foul was on Mike Simpkins. That's his second. He's no trouble right now. I was going to comment earlier when Johnson got a couple easy peepers. That will happen when you're playing a full-court pressure defense. Every once in a while, you got to give up an easy layup shot, but most of the time you get a lot of turnovers that you can convert into baskets.
They look inside to Simpkins, give and go to Keith Jones, open, shot won't go for him. Milt Stewart clears the boards that time. Baltrus goes in himself. Oh, nice high shot off the glass.
Shot.
Good play by Bill Baltrus. Jones blocked by Weldon, and it's going to go the other way. I'll tell you, there's a big play by Kurt Weldon.
If the pace keeps up, you'll ever see something happen, very much like the first half. WISSAHICKON might get back in it.
Want to clarify for you folks, that's Dwight Weldon, not Kurt Weldon. Dudley takes it into the lane. He goes up, fouled by Doc Ward. Basket won't go. Dudley will go to the line shooting 2.
That's Ward's third.
That's Doc Ward's third personal foul. So with 5:08 left to go in the ball game, the Eagles with a 9-point lead. But as we saw in that second quarter, a 9-point lead can disappear very, very quickly here. These two high-powered offenses. Dudley makes the first one. And a timeout called by John Cresswell.
I think John's going to probably have his team hopefully slow down just a little bit, use some of the clock, make him come out and get him. They're going to have to come to a press soon if this spread stays the same. And if they do come with a full court press or half court press and Norristown uses their head, they can get some easy layups. If they get excited and try to run, do things too fast too soon, they might have some problems.
And Michael Simpkins, as we said, tied with Keith Jones for leading scorer on the Eagles squad with 18 points apiece. Steve Bishop with 15, Doc Ward with 10. He's in double figures now. And Andy Town rounds out the scoring with 2 points for Norristown. For Wissahickon, Dwight Weldon, 15 points. Dan Johnson, 13. Milt Stewart, 9. Terry Dudley, 5. Kyle Wilson, 4. Bill Baltrus, 4. John Sheffrey, 3. And Ken Jones, 2. And as we said, Bob Ambler had gotten a lot of players into this ball game.
He still hasn't get back to Kyle Wilson, though, has he? I thought he played very well the first half.
And Dudley makes both. So it's now a 7-point Eagle lead. Wissahickon whittling away at that Norristown advantage. Town looking for help. He's got Jones. Now we've got a 3-on-2. Doc Ward comes inside. Okay, that was a foul by Weldon. He just didn't want to give Doc Ward the easy basket.
That was obvious. It was an intentional, foul. You see what I mean? If they take their time and get past that front line of the press, they're going to get a 3-on-2, a 2-on-1 situation most time. And the way to do it is hit right in the middle, just like they did to Keith Jones at that time. You can see the thing develop as soon as the ball got to Jones. Had a man on the left, man on the right, and only 2 defensive players.
And Doc Ward makes the first free throw. That's 11 for Doc. Make it 12. And the Eagles boost that lead back up to 9 points. With 4:57 left to play, it's 65-56 Norristown. They work the ball around the perimeter. I tell you, I didn't like that shot that time from Milt Stewart, but he draws the foul on Mike Simpkins.
Yeah, it was obvious if he's fouled, but I think he called the foul on the wrong person. He called him Keith Jones, but I think Andy Town tripped him before there was any contact made. Irregardless, we got a man on the foul line for 2 shots.
Dan Johnson back into the ball game, and Kyle Davis. I gotta keep calling that gentleman Kyle Davis. Kyle Wilson. I'm sorry, Kyle. So no points off of those free throw opportunities. Andy Town.
There's a violation a lot of people don't know about. The only time you can move along the baseline out of bounds with the ball is after a foul shot or a field goal. He moved after a foul, and that's considered walking, the same as it is on the court.
They go inside to Johnson, can't handle the pass. Bishop picks it up. Steve's going to go inside. Oh, he's crushed. Keith Jones gets the ball, puts up an air ball, and WISSAHICKON comes away with it. Johnson in on Andy Town, not going to go. Oh, blocking foul. I'll tell you, I thought that was a charge all the way, Bill.
So did I.
Oh, my goodness.
I tell you, this young Johnson has a little trouble holding on to the ball. Several times tonight he had trouble catching the ball. Maybe he's taking his eye off it. Usually when that happens, I say they have bad hands, but it might be the fact that he's not watching the ball into his hand.
Johnson has had a tough time from the line tonight, but he makes that one to cut the Eagle lead to 8 points. .57, Norristown up with 4:10 left to play. Turnaround by Simpkins, won't go. Rebound by Jones, though. Puts the soft shot up, bounces around, won't fall. Jones fights for it, gives off to Bishop. We're going to have a foul called on Steve Bishop. He's going to get a T. There it is. I'll tell you, I read Steve Bishop's lips. He said the wrong words. I tell you, that's a lapse there by Steve Bishop. Might have been a bad call, but you can't use those words in front of the official.
If it was a foul, it was a hustle foul. I didn't see it. It's on the other side of the court, but obviously Steve didn't think it was. Gave the referee some talk back, and Dudley cans a 1-and-1 and probably the technical too. This could turn into a 6-point play. You got a technical and a 1-on-1 situation. They get the ball back.
That's right. They could have suggested he should be shooting. And now we're going to see the 1-and-1.
And then WISSAHICKON gets the ball back.
We just saw the technical. Now this is the 1-and-1 from Wilson. He makes it. I'll tell you, that could be a major factor in this ball game. Steve Bishop loses his cool, and it could cost Norristown. There it is. And as the technical rule stipulates, WISSAHICKON will maintain possession of the ball. They'll bring the ball in from midcourt. So now it's a 5-point ball game rather than an 8-point ball game, and WISSAHICKON with a chance to cut it to 3. the second part of the technical shot.
Actually, he got 2 shots at. They administered a technical at the wrong time, and the first one he made would not have counted.
Andy Town with a near steal. Now, Bill, shouldn't our score be?
No.
Oh, I see.
What they did, they
see.
administered the foul, the technical foul too soon. And they had to go back and
So we
shoot
had to
it
go
again.
back and do it again. Steve Bishop from underneath his own basket. Back out to Town, almost stolen by Dudley. Over to Keith Jones. No, bad pass inside. Dudley moves down court. Ken Jones over Andy Town, won't go. Rebound by Johnson. Doc Ward called for the foul.
Getting hot now, Jeff, and that's his 4th.
I'll tell you, the Wissahickon fans and the Norristown fans really getting loud here at the Norristown High School Gymnasium.
I'm wrong. I guess that's Doc Ward's 5th foul.
And Doc's out of the ball game.
Must have missed one somewhere along the way.
And here comes Theron Ellis back into the ball game.
And Ellis comes in with 4, but you got to go with him.
With only 3:22 remaining in a 5-point ball game, you sure do.
Took it away from him. Must have went over the line. Lane violation.
Dan Johnson really getting acrobatic out there. I'll tell you, he's got to calm himself down, Bill. No, he violated the lane. Okay, let the official call it and go back and shoot your next shot. Don't go into histrionics, go crazy out there.
They get a little bit emotional.
And you knew he was going to miss that one because he was all upset with himself.
He certainly was.
No way he was going to make that shot. 5-point Eagle advantage. Andy Town, this is off the Bishop. Off the shot, oh my! Basket off the glass, and Steve Bishop's going to go to the line for a 3-point play.
He got hammered too. I'll tell you what, since Steve had that technical call on him, he really is jacked up. And who's that foul on, Alan?
We think that last foul might have been on Weldon. We're not certain. Steve Bishop, at any event, will go to the line for a 3-point play.
Bishop is really psyched at this time. He got mad at that technical, and he's ready to play at both ends, I'll tell you.
3:10 left to play, folks, pardon me. It's become quite an exciting ball game. Steve Bishop makes it. The Norristown advantage back up to 8 points.
It's like Norristown going to pull out of the press and just drop into a straight zone.
Terry Dudley won't go. They fight for the rebound. Mike Simpkins clears the boards for the Eagles. And number 4 into the ball game for Norristown High.
Joe Smith.
Joe Smith, I believe.
John bringing him in there for a little ball control.
Oh, Andy Town down low is open. Foul on the play.
Bishop.
Dan Johnson called for the foul underneath. 2:37 left to play. 8 points, the Eagles up. Andy Town makes his first. Second Wissahickon wins a brick, but Mike Simpkins right there for the rebound, and he's fouled by Dwight Weldon.
According to my records, that's his 5th. I don't know what the official scorebook has. Yeah, it looks like Ted Avery giving the officials a sign that that's his limit.
Weldon out of the ball game.
Coach Ambler has about 30 seconds to make a change. What we just saw there is something a coach doesn't like to see either. On a foul shot, the other team get that rebound and go back up again.
Looks like Ken Jones is going to enter the ball game for Bob Ambler.
Weldon leaves the game with 15 points on the night, according to my records. Played a good ball game with a lot of pressure on him.
Talk about balanced scoring. Norristown High has 18 points from Simpkins, Bishop, and Jones. Make it 19 for Michael Simpkins. And Norristown, a high-scoring ball game. This is what we expected, folks. It's 70 to 60, 71 to 60. And Norristown was in a precarious position there a few moments ago, but they've scored the last 6 points. Wilson with a shot, won't go. Rebound. Oh, they call a foul on Theron Ellis, and he's gone. I'll tell you, that's a tough call.
That's Ellis's 5th.
4, they say.
That shows you what kind of scorekeeper I am. I think they had 5 on it. Was it 4 or 5? 4? I guess it is 4.
I
then.
saw Flores Skinyard over there signal 4 fouls. Wilson's first free throw attempt off the heel of the rim, no good. 2 bricks, and Norristown comes away with the rebound. I tell you, they needed those shots with an 11-point deficit with just over 2 minutes to play. Keith Jones open on the baseline. There's the shot.
Very nice pass. I'm impressed with the composure young Joe Smith is showing under this situation. He looks like that he can handle the situation very well.
Spotted the open man that time, and Keith Jones nailed the jumper. Ken Jones comes outside to Dudley. They look to the baseline. Dan Johnson with a turnaround. Won't go for him. Joe Smith takes the rebound that's pushed out to him. I'll tell you, Jones blew that one. He had 2 men wide open down court, and then he commits the foul. Clock running down. We've got 1:28 left to play. The Eagles up by 13 points.
Hey, that wasn't a bad foul. You know, he made the mistake and muffed the pass, but rather than give the kid an easy layup, make him for the foul line. If he misses them both, nobody's hurt.
First one's good for Terry Dudley.
So much for strategy, Jeff.
And Dudley makes them both, so it's an 11-point Norristown lead. They steal the inbounds pass. Dudley misses the shot, though. Saved, and it's kicked out by the Eagles, and Wissahickon gets a big break. John Cresswell calls timeout. He's got a little bit of a discussion going on here with the officials. I think perhaps John's saying that ball
What happened, the ball was kicked out of bounds by a Norristown player, but a kid from Wissahickon was standing out of bounds and caught the ball. It happened so fast that the referee called it against Norristown. You don't often see John Cresswell get upset, but he was a little upset at that time.
Well, his Eagles have an 11-point advantage here in the opening round of the Norristown High School hosted Montgomery County Triangle Holiday Tournament. Of course, I'd like to thank the Norristown Area School District for hosting this event. It's a beautiful facility here at Norristown High School. If you haven't been out to a Norristown High Eagles game recently, you might do well to come out and watch the Eagles play at home here. They've got a beautiful new hardwood floor out, and the stand space is very nice for viewing a high school basketball game.
Speaking of our stand, Jeff, I just looked behind me. We got a pretty nice crowd here tonight. I tell you what, I bet you won't find too many tournaments around here that draw as many people as we do here.
Ken Jones short with the jumper. They fight for the rebound, saved by Mike Simpkins. Joe Smith and Steve Bishop will bring the ball up for Norristown High with 1:11 left to play. Theron Ellis. They're going to work the ball around the perimeter. We're just under a minute now. Bishop takes the ball in himself, and he's pounded. The foul's going to be called on
Number 43.
Number 43.
Milt Stewart.
Milt Stewart. Thank you, Bill. 53 seconds to play. The Eagles up by 11. Steve Bishop can put some icing on the cake here with a couple free throws. Bishop makes the first and the second. That's 20 points for Steve Bishop tonight. Simpkins, Bishop, and Jones all with 20 apiece. Doc Ward with 12 and Andy Town with 3. Left-handed shot by Jones won't go. They let the ball fall out of bounds. Eagles possession with 41 seconds left.
There's the ball slipping out of Johnson's hands again.
Jones up court, dishes off to Simpkins. Nice layup by Michael Simpkins with a man right on him.
That wasn't an easy pass to handle for Michael. He's got good hands.
77-62 with 22 seconds left to play in the game. And this game's history for Wissahickon as Wilson makes a basket with 17 seconds left. Joe Smith gets it into Steve Bishop. 10 seconds, 9. They bring it up court to Theron Ellis. 5, 4, 3. Shot off the glass, won't go.
That's a ball game, Jeff, and a good one, too. Very good game.
Fine ball game, and Norristown High victorious, 77-64. We'll be back in just a moment. Folks, 77-64, the Eagles with an impressive victory over the Trojans of Wissahickon and Allen. They'll be facing the winner of the Shallard and Bishop Kenrick game in the championship of this Triangle Club holiday tournament. And I think this is the year that Norristown may regain that championship. They have not won this tournament since 1977. And I think they're going to do it this year, quite frankly. I was very impressed with Norristown's play tonight. How about you?
Norristown played as well as they had to at times this evening. Wissahickon, a good team, but what did the Trojans in this evening is if they shot 30% at the free throw line, I'll be shocked, because they were just awful. I mean, in the third quarter alone, they must have missed at least 12 free shots. I mean, you're literally giving away 12 points. And when you shoot that poorly from the line, you have no reason to win a ball game. This evening we saw Norristown's Keith Jones finally develop into the type of player John Cresswell would like him to be every game out on the court. Offensively, a very good performance, and defensively he played well, but most importantly, he played under control for the first time this season.
I'll tell you, Norristown has got to be real happy to see those 3 players all with fantastic scoring. Mike Simpkins, 22, Steve Bishop, 20, Keith Jones, 20, and then Doc Ward, one of your other starters, with 12 points, and Andy Town off the bench, 3 points. Keith Ellis, no points, but he's an intimidating factor out there for Norristown.
And also to mention about Doc Ward, only 12 points, but Doc Ward's role tonight was to play defense, and he did a great job in the boxing one. Right on Dwight Weldon, held him to 15 points, and the majority of those were garbage points when the Eagles had the big lead. Nothing that ever really hurt them in this contest. And another thing to mention, you know, in the fourth quarter, there were 3 minutes, 56 seconds left to go. Wissahickon had pulled within 65-60, a 5-point deficit they were looking at. Over the last 3 minutes and 56 seconds, Wissahickon scored a total of 4 points. Norristown turned it on, and they coasted to the easy victory. For the Trojans, Dwight Weldon, 15. Dan Johnson, 14. He was he was atrocious from the line this evening.
He was awful from the line, absolutely awful.
I mean, he tried every different style I think imaginable except for throwing the underhand, and it might be a good recommendation. You never know. Milt Stewart had 9, Terry Dudley 9, and Terry Dudley, a 5'9" junior, really ran the offense pretty well for Wissahickon this evening. Kyle Wilson, 8 points. Bill Baltris with 4. John Sheffrey with 3, and Kenny Jones with 2, giving you the final of 77-64.
And I'll tell you, Wissahickon's going to be back in the consolation game of this tournament, but they've got a ball club that's going to go far in the American division of the Suburban 1 League. I'll tell you, they've got a good, sound ball club.
And if they improve their free throw shooting, there's no reason why that team can't finish in the top 2 or 3 spots in their conference. They could have easily beaten Norristown here if they would have been successful on the line.
Okay, Norristown, of course, will be coming up in the championship game of the Triangle Club tournament. We'd like to thank the Montgomery County Triangle Club for sponsoring this event. This is their 11th annual holiday tournament. And of course, Bill Werkheiser, member of the board of directors of the Triangle Club, and he does a great job with this tournament and also helping us out with his color commentary. His analysis is absolutely fundamental to us doing a good ball game, I think.
Well, they pay him well for it, more than us, and he has to do a good job. No, but seriously, the Triangle Club tournament, this is our 5th year covering it, and they have been fantastic as far as giving us all the information and help that we've needed. And what more can we possibly ask for when they bring in such good teams and give us exciting ball games to cover?
Okay, of course, we want to thank the Norristown Area School District. They brought you this ball game, folks. Mr. Tony Coyer, Director of Communications, and Mr. Sam Galbraith doing all of our production and camera work tonight. We'd like to thank Sam for his great help. And of course, Bill Werkheiser. It should be a great championship game. We hope you watch your Norristown High cable channel for some fantastic athletic events as well as good educational programming. We'll be back later on for more basketball. For Bill Werkheiser, Alan Raleigh, I'm Jeff Brandon, and we'll see you next time.